Live from Free Cup Studio in Seoul.
Sound the esports trumpets,
This
Artosis.
is the GSL.
Oh, those esports trumpets. Okay, so we are now going into the second best of 3 tonight. This is another great match. I'm not sure who's going to take this. I'm leaning a little bit more towards Deer.
Okay.
Deer's a funny character within StarCraft 2 because he came out so strong. He's one of the only Royal Roaders in the GSL. That means he entered into a GSL Code S and won it his very first time, which is almost unheard of for anybody. And then he teetered off a little bit. He's always been one of the best Protosses, but hasn't quite had as much of a dominating showing.
You know, he's so well respected by all the pros. He's always the guy, like, I feel like it's the hipster answer for pro gamers when you ask them who the best Protoss is. Like, if you say Deer, the other pro gamers respect you because it's like, yeah, everyone knows he's really good if you play against him. Yeah. Like that, I really actually feel like that because so often I hear things like, oh yeah, Deer is in great shape. And then he does well. Like, he gets a lot of top 8, sometimes a top 4, but he doesn't have that championship lately, which is what he was talking about in his interview.
Right.
But then ByuL on the other side, ByuL was Sue. Basically the same player as Sue, right? Like, this guy's gotten second a ton of times. He did like 4 tournaments in a row, SSLs and GSLs, getting to the finals, not winning. When he's in shape, he's like the best Zerg. But what shape is he in right now?
ByuL's also a guy who wears his heart on his sleeve.
Yes.
We know how much this means to him. Obviously, every pro gamer, this tournament means quite a bit. This is basically the quintessential StarCraft 2 tournament. If you've won here, you've basically made it. You've made that dream accomplishment. You managed to win a GSL Code as the first original StarCraft 2 tournament. And ByuL's been very open about it. Some of these guys are much more private and kind of deal with their emotional journey on their own. But ByuL's been very open. This is really important to him.
Indeed it is. It'd be great to see him have a strong showing this year.
Sure.
Last year was so far below what we're used to from him. So, anyways, going into this, guys, make sure you keep your tickets if you are in the studio. We have a raffle at the end. You might win those awesome pictures signed by the players.
GSL Season 1, Code S, Daybreak. When the lights come on, when the crowd goes wild, wrap the roof up over here, take it to
In the upper left, in the blue, he is
ByuL.
There's a chance today, Artosis, we might have all the same matchup all day.
Oh, yeah. That is definitely a chance, yeah.
To the bottom right.
Deer.
I wouldn't mind that. I like PvZ. Watching PvZ at least. Nothing I dislike more than banelings rolling into my army when I'm not looking at it, though.
Yeah.
There's very few feelings worse than that. Like, oh, I lost. Okay.
So, it's kind of nice to see. We got a actually pretty big audience coming down here tonight.
Yeah. Totally.
Especially a lot of non-Koreans down here. Not surprisingly, because people are rooting for SortOf here.
Oh God, yes.
Now let's kind of talk about the losers match coming up here. Some
JYP
support from
sells a fan.
JYP. Yeah. JYP, our Korean caster. Who do we want SortOf to play in the losers match?
He seems pretty confident to be able to take out ByuL.
So maybe,
I think.
Okay.
And No Regret was saying he feels like he can definitely beat ByuL.
Yeah.
That being SortOf.
But I guess with SortOf being in the losers match, no matter what, he'd still have to win a PvZ or a ZVP.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, both these guys are finals quality players.
Sure.
When they're in shape, so. I mean, I think that SortOf showed some really good PvZ, so I don't mind him going up against Deer, to be honest.
Thanks for coming down. So fun, man. Where's that guy that had the flask last time? The guy that we caught drinking?
Oh, the Flask guy?
Flask guy.
That guy was amazing.
That's the way to watch StarCraft.
watching StarCraft with a flask.
Yeah.
God. Few ways are better than that. The only way he could have improved his situation is if he was sitting on a couch in his underwear. That's like, yeah, these are like, there's only like 3 or 4 things you really need to truly enjoy StarCraft.
Yeah. A little bit of whiskey.
Pants is not one of them.
No, pants is absolutely not the way to do it. Now, in this game, will the play style from Deer mirror what SOS does? Because I think we're starting to get, we're starting to see the bones of what a current PvZ meta is going to look like. I'm always curious whenever we have these changes in the game, is this going to radically alter anything? But it really is seeming like PvZ, it's still remarkably similar to the last iteration of StarCraft 2, whereas other matchups might be radically different.
Yeah, the changes were not that much for this matchup, to be honest. So, I mean, shield batteries are definitely a different beast in the mothership core. But other than that, things functioning very similarly. So Deer says, screw again, the Phoenix first. I want that Oracle.
Yeah, he wants to try to get out there and start taking out a few drones, and then I guess get that Phoenix later on, and just use that Phoenix to try to take out the Overlords in the latter part. And we'll see how much actual depth pressure does come out here from Deer.
Yeah, not sure if he's going to throw down a Twilight. He is getting those additional gases here before any third base, so definitely can do that. Hey!
Yep, ByuL definitely ready for this.
On top of things.
He might be similar to Sue in records, but he's not going to get caught with that like Sue does. Every time we cast Sue, he gets like 6 drones stuck in there.
I know. It's so crazy. I can't wait to see Sue play. He's in Zest and No Regrets group. He plays Zest. You watch. The stasis ward is still going to affect his larva, unlike other people's.
Yeah.
Like, that's how bad he is against the stasis ward. It's so funny. All right, so just a layer on the way. Quicker third base. So we don't see Deer being as aggressive in a lot of ways as SOS, right? Like SOS was diving in with Zorkles, taking some damage to get drones. The very first spell cast by Deer is a stasis ward that gets 1 drone frozen. So that's like, what have you gained there? Isn't it like 14 minerals or something? It's like not really that much.
Nice job there doing the one-shots to take out about 4 drones. 1 Oracle pretty badly bruised. Now we have the Warp Prism coming up. I don't think we're going to have any push right away here from Deer. He's probably just going to use the Warp Prism to try to keep Zerg honest on the map, try to keep Zerg back. If Zerg does try to come out and attack, then he will do a Warp in.
I would definitely agree with you on that. The layer going to be finishing up here. Baneling Nest is already on the way. Surely a Hydralisk Den will be coming up now. And I mean, the third base will be up safe, easy, fine. Where's that Hydralisk Den, though? Kind of interesting.
Yeah, we're still looking for it.
Okay, there it is. Just slightly later than it could have been there. But the thing is, you don't necessarily have to do an instant attack when you go into this type of play. But without any of this additional early pressure from Deer, like we saw from SOS, ByuL will very easily get his macro going. He will very easily get his Hydra Bane army out. And when he has all that, that's where the game can get a little bit more messy for the Protoss player. SOS didn't really let games get to that stage.
Right. Okay, Warp Prism coming in now, already taking some damage here from these Queens. Looks like he's going to use these Adepts to try to scout in, take any drones out. And it's again with the 2 Adepts, similar to what we saw with SOS, albeit not very impactful when SOS did it, but it's kind of cool to see the similarities now already between these 2 guys in this PvZ matchup. That first Immortal now out, getting a second one as he continues to amass up here. And the Gateway Explosion about to finish for the Protoss.
Dude, I'm loving this from ByuL, I have to say, right? Like, he's teched up normally, okay. Taking his 4th base normally, okay. But look at the speed of this Infestation Pit. Is he just going to rush up to his hive at this point? That's kind of cool. Like, of course, there are other things. You can't go for things like Swarm Hosts. We haven't seen those as much recently, but of course, that is always a strong play.
Okay, some Lings coming up here. That does manage to trap a decent number of Lings. They would not have been able to get inside anyways.
Did you see how nervous that Immortal was? His legs were shaking,
wiggling.
man. Oh my god.
Lings, I'm terrible against those.
Oh, I don't want to go out there. Oh. Okay, so a very, very, very fast hive. Let's see if the Spire goes down. Is he going to be going for Broodlords? That is normally the path that we see, but nothing as of yet.
we're going into full-on late game, it looks like. Psystorm is being researched. Zerg is just continuing to finish up basically the remainder of his tech tree. Are these Lings going to get that Immortal?
Yeah.
Okay, that's an unfortunate loss there for Protoss. His Oracle's so handy in just making sure that these Lings can never take out the Nexus. It's funny how multifaceted the Oracle is. You know, we have to keep expanding the way that we understand what this unit can do.
It's such a neat unit.
It's
one of the best
this whole
design units ever.
matchup would operate entirely differently if they did not. If Protoss did not have the Oracle.
Yeah, we would still be on Phoenix builds. Like you need flying units. Wow.
He's gonna try to hit these Templars. Is this gonna work?
Well, he has it right click.
Oh!
Oh, that's
what?
funny. That was really
When is
good.
the last time we've ever seen that, Artosis?
I know.
What I'm gonna do is make Banelings and snipe his Templars. Not in a GSL game, you aren't.
His original right click was in the mineral line, and then he sees the Templar, he's like, okay.
Yeah. I guess I'll take
That's a good
that.
deal.
Yeah.
By the way, he did throw up the Spire shortly after I was talking about whether or not he'd do the Spire. So Broodlords are going to be coming quite quickly, and losing those High Templars, Psystorm just about to finish.
It may be up to Protoss to try to attack before the Broodlords really play a big factor.
I don't think he has any chance to. I think that there is no window for him here whatsoever.
So
he's playing a very
case-
defensive game.
In that case, I guess he has to try to then play around the Broodlord style. Yeah, that's one thing you can always do with Broodlords. If you can't take them head on, don't fight them at all. Go hit them. Go hit the Zerg wherever the Broodlords are not. And the expansion pattern here for ByuL is one where it's going to be tough to have everything covered when he does have Broodlords.
Dude, look at the creep spread, though. It's pretty awesome so far.
Yeah, that's true.
That's definitely going to help out quite a bit. There's been no pushing back of the creep, just very defensive play from Deer. 5 Corruptors on the way, which means 5 Broodlords very shortly. I'm really liking this for ByuL right now. Like, he doesn't have any tech to deal with Broodlords, nothing whatsoever. He doesn't even have Blink, and Blink would not even be good here. He's getting like additional Phoenixes. What, is he going to kill those with 3 Phoenixes while the Hydra's underneath? Is that what he's going to do, Tasus? You think that's what he's going to do, Tasus? tell me more, Tasus.
Is that why would you think something so crazy like that, Tasteless? Like, I don't know, man. You're just putting thoughts in my mind, and then you're ridiculing me for it.
Yeah. Didn't think so, Tasteless.
Yep. That Adept is just fat enough to actually block that.
Yeah. Well played, Spylon. Okay, so he's finally now going into Tempest tech. Definitely exactly what he needs is some Tempests out here, but they are going to be a little bit late. Like, if he morphs the Broodlords and goes immediately, look at this, he's morphing 5. Where are they? Okay. That's far enough forward. If he just moves in and pushes, Tempests are a bit off. Like, even with Chrono Boost, it's going to, you can be hitting one of these expansions before they get out.
The tempo of this entire matchup changes once there's enough Broodlords out. The whole rules of engagement are in some level turned upside down. The odd thing is that the longer this game goes on, if you look at the remaining expansions for Protoss, basically Protoss has taken the first layer of the map if we were to try to cut this down the middle.
Yeah.
So any other expansions he takes is more pushable by the Zerg. So that's one thing that is actually quite important. Now Zerg also, he's going to need to expand forward towards Protoss, just as the Protoss will have to expand towards the Zerg. But with the Broodlords here, the defense for those expansions is a little bit more viable. Where Protoss might have to try to play a footsie game around the map, try to juke and jive around a very slow Broodlord army. Well, maybe hit him somewhere else.
The Broodlords are coming right now, and he's making some Vipers to go with it. But there's carriers being made, and I really, really think he should have gone for Tempest. He'd have him out right now.
I thought for sure he was going to go for Tempest. So
you got to counter the Broodlords. Like, you can finish people with carriers, but if you go carriers, like, what are you going to do? The Interceptors are going to come out, and the Hydras are going to kill them?
It's just 2 carriers, right? There's no other carriers in this game, so
2 Tempests can kill all those Broodlords. 2 carriers can't do anything.
Yeah. Well, also, this is a very odd situation, and it doesn't look like Protoss is ready to go around. He's just sending some Zealots out here, which is a very manageable thing on ByuL's side of the map. So he's going to push in here. I just don't know if Deer really has anything. He'd have to get perfect Psystorms on the Broodlords. You can see already one Psystorm going down there on those Broodlings. 2 carries. Is this enough?
Well, there's only, what is that, 7 Hydras. It's like a very funny small number, but
yeah.
I mean, yeah, he should be able to do something here. Some great Psystorms on the Broodlords.
The Broodlord's a little bit bunched up over here.
Oh,
okay, harpoons that. Hydra's trying to take out that mothership.
Whoa!
A lot of these Banelings still connecting. Only about 6 Stalkers there on the low ground. Bear in mind, Zerg already making a lot more Hydras and Corruptors. But are there enough Stalkers? I didn't actually catch these Stalkers on the bottom part of our screen.
Well,
so he will have enough, it looks like, to take out these Broodlords.
Sure, he's going to kill the Broodlords, but the thing is, he's lost so many important units now.
Right.
Look at what his army is. It's some Stalkers with, like, Blink halfway done, and then he does have some carriers. So, I mean, that's nice, but I don't like the army of Deer. Like, he lost a lot of his sophistication. All his Archons are dead. All of his Immortals are dead. All of his High Templars are dead. And so he's like just sitting here taking his 5th base, and ByuL is remaxing on whatever he wants.
Kind of weird because even though he lost a lot of that complex unit composition, it did free up supply to make more carriers.
Yes, it's
so
the bright side of things.
Let's see how this game actually goes. Now, while these additional carriers are being made, it seems like there should be a window of opportunity here for ByuL to try to come in and do a lot more damage all over again. And we can see these Corruptors coming out here, and he might, in fact, want to try to get these carriers as they pop out, since they are basically defenseless. Meanwhile, a push coming up here in the very center right of the map.
Oh, man, if he can yank in that Mothership, that is so fantastic. He has the 2 High Templars ready for feedbacks, though. That is a lot of Zealots he's warped in. That's a very cool move, just kind of banking those a little bit, getting ready for the counterattack. Definitely can take down a hatchery with that.
Okay, here we go. Mothership taking a decent amount of damage. The Harpoon move coming in. Boom, he gets it. And that means the Mothership is going to be taken out between these Hydras and these Corruptors.
Oh, man, just having to force all of his High Templars into Archons here. A lot of Hydras left over. Will deal some significant damage.
You know, it's just Stalkers and an Immortal down here. The carriers go down. Really, ByuL, on some level, hitting the reset button. But Deer does continue to sustain, and now with these Zealots coming in here, it looks like he really should be able to take out that hatchery pretty easily. Not the end of the world for ByuL, but definitely a small victory here for Deer.
Yeah, it is something at least that he's getting done. But his economy, like, he's still got mining bases and stuff, but he's lost all of his important units so many times at this point. Just looking at his army, it's not what you've been trying to build towards.
Yeah.
You know, if you're losing your army, you want to be losing it dealing a lot of damage to Zerg, not just barely fending off their attacks.
Let's also keep in mind that, you know, as far as the bases on the very far right, Deer hasn't really lost those. He's had some fights over there, but that means he should be mining out eventually here, which means all that ByuL really has to do is deny a base over and over here on this outer parameter that we see just now happening once again.
And the carrier's definitely going to be helping out at this point. Got a nice set of those right now. Ooh, forcing back
Oh, he needs to wait for the rest of these carriers to come up here with his army. These links now coming around. Once again, the hatchery is actually taken out. This is a 5-base Zerg against a 4-base Protoss. Protoss does need to get that expansion up, though. There's definitely enough money and time here for ByuL to try to macro up again and try to counter the unit composition that Deer's been working so hard to try to balance out.
Interesting what ByuL is going for here. He's actually going for an Ultros Cavern and Lurker tech. I'm not certain he's going to use both of these units right now.
Well,
but
you know, sometimes in late game for Zerg, the whole way you can win is by rotating unit composition. So you hit him with a huge army of you name it, right? It could be Broodlords, it could be Ultras, and as you're trading into that, you identify what units they're lacking and switch into that unit comp. Hit them again, and sometimes by the 3rd time, they just get overrun. And that's when you have a Zerg that has so much money, they can just start throwing units away until they get a favorable unit composition and end the game.
Does he have that type of bank right now?
Not
you know,
exactly.
That huge Zealot Orphan that killed the 4th base was really nice.
Yeah, I thought it was going to be something more, you know, I guess like a footnote in this game, but really that Zealot Warp-In is actually having a major impact as Deer's trying to race up and get another base and secure this. And I think that Nexus just finished where it was warping in over there. So he's just now beginning to mine from that location. And I guess ByuL's not going to be able to deny that. So we're going to go into a later game situation here.
Yeah, it's funny how this all has kind of turned out, because Deer was definitely in the back foot a few times there, but has held on. He's continuing to build up his army here. I love the Immortals he has in there. There's High Templars coming in from behind. Nice yank on the Mothership core twice here. Can pick that off.
Mothership goes down, but Protoss can continue to press through here. So many Templars. If a few good Psy Storms land, it's going to be disastrous here for ByuL.
Oh man, definitely a few good size storms end up landing right there. The Protoss army definitely going down in size as well. The carrier's losing a lot of interceptors. They rebuild quickly.
We have 3 Ultras on the way here, as well as more Hydras. Okay, so hold up. There's a counterattack there at the very top.
Oh, he turned around.
Oh, he turned around. There was not. Yeah, you guys are going to have to take my word for it. But it looked like he was going to go around and try to hit that Nexus. But instead, I think ByuL a little bit intimidating here as this push is continuing to come in.
Yeah,
Does Deer have this? I think this is a unit comp that might be too hard to beat.
Yeah,
I don't think these 3 Ultras are going to help at all in this situation.
It's very tough. Like, if those Immortals weren't there, maybe that would be enough, right? Because they would just cleave through the Zealots and Stalkers so easily.
Yeah.
But the damage output of those Immortals, just a few volleys you target, and that's it.
Okay, some storms coming down here now, blanketing the rest of the Zerg army as he tries to press forward. But really, the damage has already been dealt. We see those, that last Ultra is taken out here. The Lings of Banelix might be able to drive this out further, but here comes some Archons that are going to be very, very helpful in this situation.
Well, his Hydras have done such a good job at reducing this Interceptor count, and look at that. ByuL pushing him back right now. Interceptor count still very low. More Zealots coming in. Nothing going to be left to tank after this Archon's gone, though.
So he's continuing to remake those Interceptors. In kind of an odd situation, Zerg's actually expanded to what would normally be a Protoss space here in the top center. This area that, just due to the direction that Deer's trying to push through, that area is somewhat neglected at the top. I don't know how long that's going to stay, though. That seems to be a very easy location that if Protoss just chooses to go there, Zerg will have to give it up.
Well, right now, he's running home. I think he has to refuel a little bit, if that makes sense. You know, get a few Psy Storms out there, the mass Hydra count. You don't really want to fight that without your splash damage. Some great upgrades on both sides as we see. Look at that, 3/3/3 and +2 air for ByuL. Wow, crazy.
Okay, pushing up to the top here. Another base to stamp out. After this base is taken out here, assuming that Deer actually pulls the trigger on it, ByuL basically has 1 mining base. Protoss has very, very patiently stayed back, and I think this conservative game is going to pay off in the long run. But let's not count ByuL out just yet.
Oh, it's been a very fun game, I gotta say. Really back and forth on both sides. Both sides having advantages from time to time. And now with this kind of weird unit composition, Ultra Lingbane Hydra. Let's see if he can get something done coming forward right now.
The storms come down now. Interceptors being shot out. 2 Ultras remain. With those storms on the back with those Hydras, this should be easily cleaned up here by Deer, and that's basically the last remaining army that ByuL had in this game. GG. Deer takes game number 1.
I feel like that was a really well-played game by both sides there. Yeah. You know, ByuL having a little bit of a hard time, even when he got the advantage in really finishing Deer off. Deer played so passively early on. You really see the difference between he and SOS so far today.
Yeah.
Where Deer is sitting back, he's never attacking, he's just trying to get into a very scary unit composition. And ByuL had some great moves. You know, like I loved when he flew his Corruptors over to try to find carriers popping. Unfortunately, they didn't pop right then. They still had a little while left, but like, you start catching a few carriers like that, stuff can snowball.
I do wonder if it was wise for ByuL to try to push in to that far right area and not just try to keep sniping down the expansions, because that's when he lost a lot of those Brood Lords.
Oh, that push.
Protoss seemed to get very explosive on the map and able to dominate certain territories that otherwise ByuL, I think, could have intimidated him out of claiming.
Well, I would love to give my standard Artosis strong opinion here. I think if he had attacked from the top instead of in the middle, the reason why that was broken so easily,
sides.
Yeah, if that was hit by one side, it never gets broken. Broodlord, Siege Shanks, Colossus, these are long-range units. You want to fight only on one side with them. You don't want to be flanked, and he was completely flanked there, despite having a better unit comp.
All right, game 2's loaded up. Deer versus ByuL.
GSL Season 1, Codex.
Deer versus ByuL.
Daybreak. When the lights come out.
Okay, in the bottom right, 2 second places
ByuL.
in a GSL Code S. And his opponent here in the upper left, a former GSL Code S champion.
Deer.
shall be cool to see if they go for that same style on both sides once again, kind of leaving each other be. It's really fun when you get a lot of the same matchups in a day. But at this point, we might be getting a PvP and ZVZ as well, Tasis.
Yep. Very possible. I won't complain if we get that either.
Well, that's good. That would be unprofessional.
If we get a PvP, I'm going home.
ZVZ!
What is up with the hate for mirror matchups, by the way? I've never understood this. It's like it has to be humans fighting aliens for you to enjoy this? Is that what people are coming to now?
I think a lot of it is people not understanding mirror matchups as well.
You might be right.
Because I think once you understand something, it just becomes enjoyable. Welcome.
You know,
but like, hear me out for one second.
Yeah,
right?
go ahead.
Like, if you don't know anything about something you're watching, sometimes it'll catch your fancy. But I tend to find that, like, if you put in the time to learn a little bit about something, it goes a long way. Like, if you dive deeply on the strategy, the small nuances of a mirror matchup, right?
Right.
Like drone counts, for instance, in
Sure.
CBC. Like, where are you stopping these drone counts? Or, you know, what does this quick speed look like? And understanding what those things mean can give it such a bigger layer of excitement, I think. What do you think, Taste?
No, I totally agree. Maybe people assume that because they have the same starting pieces, and therefore it couldn't get dynamic or take radical directions.
Yeah.
In a game, but that's just not true. That's actually what makes it so cool, is the fact that you could start out with the exact same stuff.
Yeah.
And end up in completely different places.
Well, I like that a lot.
Yeah.
Because most of the time it's not mirror matchups, right? But then you get them, and it feels way different when you're playing as well. You know, especially because, like, everyone has a main race, right?
Sure.
So the whole game feels different. Like, sometimes there's some scary thing, like, whenever I play Zerg, whether it's StarCraft 1 or StarCraft 2, I'm always scared. I'm like, God, I know they just have so much stuff. They must have so much stuff. But, like, if I'm playing a PvP in StarCraft 2 or TVT in StarCraft 1, I know how much stuff they can have.
Yeah.
Because I know how much stuff I could have if I hit my depots and pylons.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? So it's like, there's kind of this fun level of, you don't need to be scared because there's nothing tricky here. You know your race.
So we still have a little bit of downtime here. I want to talk to you, Artosis, about something else. Because this issue actually comes up a lot. People tweeted me, asking me about it.
Yeah.
From time to time. People are asking, how do I deal with ladder anxiety?
Yes.
This is... Now, but before we talk about this, I'm curious, did you ever get anxious laddering ever in your whole life? It's fine if you did or if you didn't. I'm just curious. Like, you've been playing since you were 14.
Yeah.
This is a safe space, Artosis. The safety net is out.
Mostly no. Like, I know what the feeling is, and I think I really know what causes it. Do you have anything?
I was gonna say, I mean, I don't think I would get anxiety in tournaments when I was younger, but not on the ladder. I would do this weird thing occasionally, like way long ago, where I'd try to reset my rank if I was unhappy with how many losses I had. But that was like, I think I was like 16 when I did that.
Though.
That's a different psychological issue where you're like, I'm not at the time. I think I wasn't okay, like, with a record itself not being good instead of focusing on my rank or my rating. But I've always found, and this because so many people talk about this, if you have anxiety laddering, then I think you're actually looking at the entire experience of laddering wrong. Like, the whole point of the ladder, it's on some level supposed to be emotionless. You just sort of see yourself shrink or grow based on where you're at. But I think for some people that can be kind of a horrifying thing where maybe they see themselves in their head as better than they are. That's usually, at least in my experience when I look at people, they're not humble enough with themselves. Maybe they spend a lot of time watching StarCraft but don't play that much, but feel like they should know more, they know as much as the pros, and then it could be this like terrifying moment where you suddenly discover that you are way worse than you ever
I think you just completely nailed it. I think that ladder anxiety is basically you're afraid of reality.
Yeah.
And I mean, this sounds harsh, guys, and it's not really meant to be, but like, it's okay. We all suck at StarCraft. I play StarCraft every day for like 20 years, and like, I'm terrible.
Yeah.
You know,
well, if you think of even the guys,
if you watch these guys playing, like, these guys are good, okay, but like, the ladder anxiety, I think, does stem from exactly what you're saying here, Tasis, where it's like you have decided that you are good at video games, or you have this value connecting your head to how good you are at StarCraft, but you kind of deep down know that you're not as good as you're trying to pretend to be, and that's
Yeah.
why it's scary to ladder.
Yeah.
But don't worry, because we all lose games all the time, including...
Yeah, if you're not losing almost 50% of your games, or even more, then you're probably playing with the wrong people. So you should not.
What is Flash's win rate in pro matches? It's something like 70%, isn't it? The greatest gamer ever to have lived at RTS, with by far the most championships, only wins 70%.
Yeah.
That's the number one by far. Almost everyone else is at 50%, guys.
Yeah, floating a little bit over 50%. Let's talk about this more in a little bit, because the push is starting up here.
Yeah, quite a scary push. Definitely a lot more aggressive this game. Has that third Nexus up, but going for it with all of these force fields. Oh my God.
I almost boxed those in completely there.
Thought we were going to see that Protoss gift.
So, this actually may be too much. Let's see.
I
mean, he only has like things that can strike melee-wise, minus the queens. We're going to see if he can.
Really good, but that is still a lot of
He
adepts.
meant to do that, Artosis. There wasn't much more energy left on those sentries.
You can't use them as tanks.
Yeah, that's the trick. You make the sentry tanking. Okay, Act 2 though. More adepts coming in now. There's no banelings for the time being here. Queen's here to tank. With this Immortal still in the bag. We should have another warping round momentarily. Oh, what? Okay, meanwhile, oh God, oh, they're everywhere.
Okay.
They're everywhere.
I guess we're not getting PVZs all night.
Okay. We will continue on further with our ladder anxiety psychoanalysis later, guys. And our next best of 3, but for now, it looks like Deer is just dominating. He is rolling ByuL. He is rolling ByuL into a Kimbop, and then he eats him. Yup. GG.
All right, that is a brutal push there from Deer. Just slaughtering. You know, it's very hard to hold on to some of these attacks with Ling Bane. It's like the force fields go up and your banelings don't connect, and it's like up to Deer when you get to do your damage, and that's never going to be fun.
Great push there by Deer. ByuL not looking very happy with that game, unfortunately. No. So now, excuse me, we're going to have our winners match coming up here.
Yeah, it's going to be PvP.
Yep.
Deer versus SOS. Should be a very good one, I think.
And we're going to be going to that in just a little bit. Guys, I know StarCraft 2 just became free to play. If you've got friends that are new to the game, definitely tell them to join us here at the GSL. We can learn it together. We'll be back in just a little bit.